INEC has uploaded almost all of the Forms EC8A results from the polling unit on their IREV. As at time of this report, it's 98.58% of the polling unit results that have been uploaded on the IREV. And the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner has announced that the collation, official collation, will continue by 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Official collation. But of course, we have access to the polling unit results on the IREV. The beautiful thing about the IREV is that everybody has access to it. So what is the indication of this election of Edo 2024? Is it a 3-horse race? Is it a 2-horse race? Or is it a 1-horse race? Many had thought that, okay, it's going to be a neck-and-neck battle between or among APC, PDP, and Labour Party. But from preliminary results that we have, it appears that the story has changed. And for us on Refresh Nigeria, what we are looking at is, what does the data mean? The information that is coming our way, what does it mean? Now, from different polling unit results, let's take them one by one. Particularly from Ovia South, Ovia Southwest. The polling unit results are coming in, and it appears to be more of a 2-horse race than a 3-horse race. 2 votes for Labour Party there. 84 votes for PDP, 63 for APC. Here you have 3 votes for Labour Party, 84 votes for PDP, 46 for APC. Here you have 31 votes for PDP, no vote, okay, 2 votes for Labour Party, and all that. One thing that comes to mind when you're looking at all these Forms EC8A results is the fact that many of them are not signed, like you can see here. On the right here, you're supposed to have the names and signature of the polling unit agents, but we're not finding it in many of the results. What is the implication of this? Is either the polling unit agents for the political parties were not present, or maybe for some reasons they did, or they refused to sign. But there's an implication of this. Does it mean that these results are invalid? Definitely not, because according to not just INEC now, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, from the ruling they made in the presidential elections of 2023, the Forms EC8A, the polling unit result, forms the basic building block of election results. So it's the most important one. And from the Electoral Act 2022, what we need to focus on is the Form EC8A result. So why is it that polling unit agents are not signing? Some of them, they are signing. If you look at this now, if I were to do some preliminary forensics analysis, it appears as though this particular result from Ighodalo Ministry of Education 2 polling unit, it appears as though it's the same person that filled for the 2 polling unit agents there. You have 11 votes. APC won that. And that's 131 votes for APC and just 11 for PDP. But if you look at the handwriting, it appears as though the person who wrote the result sheet, maybe the INEC electoral officer or the INEC returning officer for the polling unit, is the same person who signed for the others. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just that the polling unit agents for the APC and Labour Party, maybe they had similar signature. You have that the PDP polling unit agent did not even sign. So perhaps the PDP polling unit agent was not present as at the time of the election in Ighodalo Ministry of Education 2 polling unit. And the results continue to trickle in. Now, the implication of this result is that Labour Party did not do so well. Labour Party did not do so well. Now, how will Labour Party react? Many of the Labour Party officials are coming out to already right now begin to shout about rigging. But let's cast our mind back to some things that I said before the elections. I think that we should stop using this excuse of rigging. We should stop it. If people rigged, what stopped you from stopping them from rigging? Are you trying to tell me that you cannot stop rigging? When we shout rigging like this, it has a counterproductive effect on the people. Number one, let's be sincere to ourselves. If there was rigging, and I'm not saying there's no rigging, and I'm not saying there's rigging. If there's rigging, what made the rigging possible? If you look at the overall results from the results we are getting now on the IREV, these are IREV results that you are looking at on your screen. There is very low voter turnout. About 2.3 million voters registered and collected PVC. So I would be expecting maybe 70-80% voter turnout. But what we are getting might just fall around. The official figures are not out yet. What we are getting might just fall around maybe 500,000 votes. So that's about 25% voter turnout. Now the truth must be told, and must be told repeatedly so that Nigerians can take it in and understand it. Voting or vote rigging or election rigging is only possible when voters refuse to turn out to vote. If any political party understands this truth that I'm saying now, and they walk towards this truth that I just said now, that political party would defeat any incumbent political party in any election. Election rigging is possible when voters don't turn out to vote, when you have low voter turnout, when you have what they officially call voter apathy, then rigging can take place. Whatever the manner of rigging, because right now you already have Labour Party officials coming to say, oh no, see, there was vote buying, massive vote buying. Oh, the APC, they were spending already looted funds to buy votes. The PDP, they were spending already looted funds to buy votes. Okay. And the Labour Party did not have money to buy votes because they did not loot funds. But the truth must be told. What do you think is the budget of Labour Party or of PDP or APC for vote buying? They are spending 10,000 naira. 10,000 times 1 million is what? 1 billion naira. Did I get that right? Let me pull up my calculator. Let me pull up the calculator. We need to just do a quick math. And the math is a math that will help you to understand why it is absolutely important for voters to come out en masse during election day. It makes rigging almost impossible. Let's look at this particular type of election rigging, which is vote buying. 2.3 million voters in Edo State registered and collected their PVC. So if they are giving out 10,000 naira, 10,000 naira, multiply that by 2.3 million registered voters. What does that give you? 23 billion naira. 23 billion naira. So if all the registered voters in Edo State with their PVC came out to come and vote, and APC or PDP wanted to rig the election by buying votes, guess what will happen? They will need to part with 23 billion naira, which I'm sure, even if they have it, I'm not saying they don't have it, they will not be willing to part with it. Even if they release 23 billion naira to party officials or party chieftains to distribute, the party chieftains will loot, they will chop the greater part of that 23 billion naira and not care. They'll simply not care. And a lot of people will not get. And you know, the funny thing is that when the 2.3 million people come out to come and vote, the tendency that you can buy all 2.3 million voters in Edo State is very, very low. The possibility is low. The probability is very low. So you see, if vote buying was prevalent, it was prevalent because the voters who have their PVC did not come out to vote. So for those who will be crying now that they were rigged out, what they should do, and this is a particular warning to the obedient movement, we should now start educating the people to come out and vote. And that is why it's absolutely important, the kind of narrative we push out there. When we push this narrative of they rigged, what we are simply telling to voters is that voters, don't bother to come out. It is dangerous. Stop this crying over spilt milk. Stop crying, oh, they rigged us out. Look, let me tell you this. Think back. There was a time the likes of Tinubu, during the 16 years of PDP, the likes of Tinubu were crying and screaming. The likes of Buhari were crying and screaming that PDP rigged them out. They were crying. But what did Tinubu do? Tinubu sat down and strategized how he would do his own rigging. So, despite the fact that PDP had power of incumbency for 16 years, and despite the fact that they succeeded tremendously with their rigging, in fact, when the likes of people like Yaradua came, he said the election that brought him was not free and fair. He admitted that it was rigged. And that was why he set up the Uwais panel that came up with the Uwais report. So despite the fact that PDP was engaged in all manner of rigging at the time, APC did not just sit on their oars, rest on their oars, and just throw their hands in the air and complain and say, oh, they have rigged us out. They didn't do that. They also went. In fact, there was a particular speech that former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo gave at the Bola Tinubu colloquium. One of the speech he gave, he was talking about how they strategized, how they went to UK to get an election forensics expert to come and do forensics on the ballot paper that they took to court, and they were able to prove that the ballot boxes were fake, and they were able to get positive judgment. We must begin to think scientifically. We will need to begin to think strategically and not just jump and come and say they rigged, they buy votes. There is one cure for vote buying during election. One cure. Number one cure is educate the people. Start on time. You assume that many Nigerians know. I said it before. It is an error to assume that just because people are hungry, then they will automatically vote out the party in power. Because the party in power, they have mastered the art and the act and the science of making the people think that government is not responsible for their problems. And it takes a very high level of education and literacy to understand that it is the government that is responsible for the problems of the people, particularly the illiterate ones. So the assumption that once the people are hungry, they will just vote out the people in power is an error, is a very big error. So the very first cure to vote buying and vote selling, because if the people are not willing to sell their votes, the people, the APC and the PDP will not be able to buy votes. So the first cure for vote buying will be to educate the people. That's number one. The number two cure for vote buying will be to encourage the people to come out en masse. Massive voter turnout. That's the cure. You see, when we talk about rigging, if the voters come out massively, election violence at the polling unit will be reduced, particularly when the voters come out massively and strategically with some polling unit strategies that I have outlined to curb polling unit violence. Once they come out massively and they engage in those strategic things, which also boils down to voter education, because it's only through voter education that you can explain and pass the information of these strategies to stop ballot box snatching, polling unit election violence, connivance of security agencies. They can be stopped with the right strategies, and I have the right strategies. And those strategies cannot be effective if the political parties or the candidates do not engage in voter education and start on time. Rigging can be stopped. Don't let anybody deceive you. Rigging can be stopped. I have outlined many solutions to solving the problem of rigging in Nigeria. All it takes is hard work, diligence on the part of the political parties, and you'll see that rigging will be a thing of the past. INEC will be rendered handicapped. INEC will be rendered handicapped when we engage the right election strategies as a political party or as a political candidate. And that's what we should look at. All this talk about, oh, they rig because they did vote buying. It can be stopped. Two solutions I just gave. Number one, educate the people. Then number two, encourage massive voter turnout. Encourage massive voter turnout. So, the elections are not looking very good for the Labour Party. They're not looking very good. In fact, there's something that we also should point out at this time, particularly for me. You look at all the results that we have, they have been uploaded to IREV. At this particular point, you'll see that a lot of the polling units of Labour Party, the polling unit agents are not there. Like if you see this one now, okay, the polling unit agent is here for Labour Party. The polling unit agent is here for Labour Party. The polling unit agent is here for Labour Party, Honor Godwin. Okay. The polling unit agent is here. The polling unit agent for Labour Party is not here. And this is open space beside the transformer, Ighodalo Junction polling unit. The Labour Party polling unit agent was not there or did not sign or was compromised, because that's something that is becoming evident now. A lot of the people that you say are polling unit agents for Labour Party, they are actually moles for either the PDP or APC. Moles, because why would the polling unit agent not be available on ground? It's also possible that the reason for that will be that the political party or the candidate himself did not set up a political party situation room, collation center, where they collate their results in real time. I've said it before. We should not be relying on INEC. Yes, INEC is the only organization that is empowered by law to announce election results. But INEC is not the only organization empowered by law to collate election results. We can do our own alternative collation and even broadcast it online. We can. The thing is, we are not empowered to declare a winner. We cannot, based on the outcome of our own situation room collation of the election results, declare somebody as winner. That is what the law frowns against. The law did not say that political parties cannot have their own situation room or do their own collation. In fact, INEC depends on political parties or political party candidates doing their own collation so that they bring their own collation to the INEC collation center. This was evident in the 2023 presidential election when the INEC chairman was asking Dino Melaye and the Labour Party agent, where is your own figure? INEC depends on the political parties or the political party candidates to also do their own collation. By now, we should have seen the collation center results for the Labour Party, for the APC, for the PDP. They are allowed by law to have it. The only restriction they have is that they are not allowed to declare a winner, but they can have their results. So far, it is based off of polling unit results. They can have it. If you are standing on the truth, nothing can shake you. And that's one thing that the political parties or the candidates should focus on as we prepare for 2027. I will insert myself. I keep saying it. I will say it again. I talked about election software that I have acquired. Unfortunately, the Labour Party of Edo State did not ask for it. And of course, I will not go out of my way to force myself on anybody. But for the 2027 presidential election, I will force myself. I will insert myself. And the starting point is now. It's part of the reasons why we need to do videos like this, so that the electorate can know that election rigging can be stopped, that they actually contribute the biggest portion of the blame. The reason why elections are rigged in Nigeria, because they don't turn out for elections, out of fear, out of whatever the reason. So what the first thing a political candidate should be asking is, why are voters not turning out for elections? So when you ask these questions, you look at factors like the propaganda, election violence, security agencies, and all that. By the time you look at all of these, poverty, you are able to now put measures in place to counter them, and you start on time. We can stop rigging with the people. We cannot continue to depend on those that are benefiting from the corruption in the system to implement the solution that we propose. We must propose our solutions and implement them. And one of the things that we can do is this election software put in a solid and robust measure in place to have your result faster than INEC. Faster than INEC. As the polling unit agents are filling the form EC8A at the polling unit, they are sending the result to you. They are sending the result to you. And once they send the result either through the mobile app or by call, phone call, you are imputing it into the election software. So before the polling unit agent gets to the ward level or the registration area collation center, which is the RAC, he is already equipped with the RAC result or the ward result for that party. Already equipped. So if the INEC officials decide that they want to play hanky-panky at that level, the party agent at that place has figures to present to them. And while he's presenting the figures, if there are violence, you take note of the violence, you note it. That is what you take to the next higher level. We can checkmate election rigging in Nigeria with the right approach and strategies. And unfortunately for us, we have them now. Unfortunately for Apkpata, it was not deployed. And I must say this now, we cannot continue to leave these issues to politicians alone. We Nigerians are the ones that seek the solution. So we must engage in the solutions. As it is now, it's a two-horse race. It's a two-horse race, and it's not looking so good for Labour Party. The figures are so small. In most polling units, I see zero. In fact, zero with the Labour Party agent. There's a Labour Party agent here in Ighodalo Health Post. And the Labour Party agent, look at this, oh, this is serious. Oh my God. This is amazing. So if you go to Ovia Southwest, Igugun Health Post. There's a total number of voters on the register to be 168. And total number of accredited voters is 102. And total number of ballot boxes in the polling unit is 168. Total number of spoiled ballot papers, okay, that's 0. Number of rejected ballots is 16. Number of valid votes is 86. And then the total number of used ballot boxes, everything is 102. So there is no overvoting. But here is where it gets interesting. So in this polling unit now, the Labour Party agent, whose name is Gabriel Odi, I think, with his signature, the Labour Party agent did not vote for Labour Party. The Labour Party agent did not vote for Labour Party in the Edo election. Why is this? What can be the explanation for this? It's either the party agent that was posted to that unit for Labour Party is not a valid voter or does not have a PVC. So the question is, how do you deploy somebody who does not have polling unit, a PVC, to a polling unit as a party agent? If the person is not invested in the election to the point that the person is willing to make sacrifices to register and get his PVC, what makes you think the person will be invested enough to be dedicated and passionate and committed to the party in the polling unit? What makes you think that? So this is just pathetic that even Labour Party agents did not vote for Labour Party in this polling unit in the Edo results. So many lessons for Peter Obi to learn. So many lessons for Olumide Apkpata to learn. So many lessons for Nigeria. In fact, part of the lesson for Nigeria is this. Olumide Apkpata paid 30 million naira to get the nomination form on the Labour Party. That 30 million naira is aside from the money he would have paid to pay for rent for the offices, to pay for salaries of Labour Party officials, to pay for allowances and all that. And then it's also different from the money that he must have spent to run his campaign. So if the limit is actually 200 million, I can say give or take he has spent about 500 million. So how will somebody spend 500 million naira and the person will now get the kind of result that Olumide Apkpata just got? It is sad. It is sad. So for Olumide Apkpata, do you think that he will be encouraged to participate in the electoral process again? The only way he will be encouraged to participate is if he still has some of those free funds somewhere, which I don't think it is hard-gotten wealth that he can use again. Now, aside from Olumide Apkpata, do you think any sane Nigerian now that does not have the money that Olumide Apkpata has, or that has it, would think to use his money to fund the election like this, where you have your own polling unit agents not voting for you? It is sad. Very, very sad. So these are lessons that we need to learn. The political parties in Nigeria must now begin to open up the political space. And how will they do that? They must now begin to reform such that nomination forms should be free. Is it possible for LP, PDP, APC, NNPP to make nomination forms for any office, any political office, to be free? Is it possible? I think it is easier for the camel to pass through the eye of the needle for that to happen. So what is the solution then? We need to form a political party. That's why the message is scrolling on your screen. Abundance Party of Nigeria. Join us. We want to create it. It's a political party of the people, for the people, and by the people. One of the core ideologies of this, our new political party that we need you to join us to form, is that nomination forms will be 100% free. Any Nigerian should be free to run for any office, provided they are credible, they have ideas, they are passionate, and they are committed. All these big money politics must stop. And unfortunately, the only way to stop it is the political parties. And unfortunately, the political parties that we have in Nigeria currently, they encourage big money politics. So if we are going to solve the leadership problem that starts from the political party, we need to create a new political party where there's a level playing field. Nomination forms are free. So we want to encourage you and call you as you go through the elections, whether you're feeling bad or don't feel bad. For me, it is an opportunity for persons like Peter Obi. It is an opportunity for Nigerians like you and I to start strategizing and doing the right thing. Tinubu is defeatable in 2027, very, very defeatable. But we need to start doing the right things. It's okay if Peter Obi can reform the Labour Party, even though I see that as a very tall order. If the Labour Party is going to be reformed, then part of the core reforms that must take place is that nomination forms on the platform of the Labour Party for any political office must be free. It must be free. Anything short of that will still disenfranchise Nigeria. It will still continue to be big money politics and strong individual or strong person's politics. And that will not help us. It will only end in the rigging that we are seeing right now. So join us. Let us create this new political party. The link is in the description. Edo, for me, is done and dusted. It looks like it's going to be a PDP call. APC is hot on their heels. Let's hear the official results from INEC. But it's not the end. For us who want a new Nigeria, it is just the starting point.